Everyone knows Yas Island, Ferrari World, Formula One, Warner Bros. However, most investors still do not understand how real money is made there. Because if you think it's just about buying any property in Yas Island and waiting, you're probably gonna get average results. In this video, I'm gonna break down how this location actually works and why an investment like Sobha City is very different from what most people expect. First of all, let's understand Yas Islands, because when it comes to an investment, location and the strategy of the specific location is equally important to choosing the right developer and the right product. Yas Island, I would say, is the Expo City of Abu Dhabi. What Expo City is to Dubai is what Yas Island is to Abu Dhabi. It is a tourism engine, it is an events engine, it's a lifestyle engine, and it has some pretty strong future demand anchors that are yet to unwind over the next 5 to 10 years. In 2025, around 38 million people visited Yas Island. I mean, this is not unique visits. There could be people who visited multiple times, right? To put it in context, last year, the total number of tourists visited Dubai is 19 million. So, I mean, such a big city, Dubai, and you know the scale of, I mean, it's the leading tourist hub of the world, and that scale is 19 million. It's a big number. And the number of people visited Yas Island is 2x. It could be single visits or multiple visits, but the point is 38 visits were recorded. That's a big number, right? That's number one. So that signifies that there is something in this location that you as an investor should pay serious attention to when there is some investment opportunity coming up there. There is Ferrari World. We have the Formula races happening at the F1 track. We have the Warner Bros. Last year, Disneyland announced that they are going to be present there. And a lot of things are yet to come up in this location, which is why it has already become a key touristic destination. So this is year-round short-term demand that we are talking about. Looking at it from an events point of view, as Yas Island is also an events engine, there is mega events regularly happening there. The likes of Coldplay concerts, Beat, Formula racing, and whatnot. You have the Etihad Arena, equivalent to the Coca-Cola Arena of Dubai. Talking about the lifestyle element of Yas Island, you have the Yas Mall, the largest in Abu Dhabi. You have the Yas Bay, where there is nightlife, restaurants, a waterfront destination. Then you have the Yas Link, which is among the top 100 golf courses in the world, designed by Kyle Phillips. You have schools, hospitals, and whatnot. So this element positions Yas Island as a potential long-term destination, not just as an event hub. People can actually live there. So that's your long-term demand engine from an investment point of view. Then we have some pretty strong demand anchors, or to say pretty strong things that are yet to happen in the future, pretty strong initiatives such as the tram network that's going to come, which will directly connect to the Abu Dhabi airport. Then obviously you have Disney Abu Dhabi, which was announced last year. Then you have some extensions happening at Warner Bros. Like the Harry Potter land, which again was announced recently. Then you have Sphere Abu Dhabi, which is going to be one of the largest immersive experiences. Right now there is only one in the world in Las Vegas, and they are going to do another one just like that at that scale in Abu Dhabi with a seating capacity of 20,000. That's going to be a big thing as well. Then you have the Yas Creative Hub, which is going to be home for 700 plus companies, entrepreneurs, and it's going to create 16,000 jobs by 2031. So this again is your long-term resident tenant pool that we are talking about. And then again, there's another announcement which is underway. The world's only esports island is also going to come up in Yas Islands. So a lot of things are already happening. It's a lifestyle destination, as I said. It's an events destination, and a lot of mega big things are yet to come up in this location. This Yas Island is being positioned, as I said, just like what Expo City is to Dubai, that's what Yas Islands is to Abu Dhabi and UAE. As and when the realization of each of these future demand anchors unwind over the next 5-7 years, there is going to be demand high for good quality properties. For example, when SeaWorld was launched, we noticed around 163% surge in property search on property portals, right? So that's what's going to happen in the future as and when these demand anchors unwind. So that's a bit about Yas Island, what's there, what's coming there, so that you have some context when we talk about investment opportunities. So the question is how you invest into this demand, where you invest, not just randomly anywhere, right? Particularly with everything happening in the region, you should really assess the position of the developer. Is the developer capable? Is it a strong developer who can weather the storm, who is financially capable of weathering the storm? Of course, UAE is capable of doing that, and Yas Island definitely is. I mean, it's going as planned. So there's no doubt that the Yas Island will be constructed, and whatever I just mentioned is going to happen. But the real question is the particular developer that you are investing in, is that developer capable of riding the wave? That's the question. So now Sobha is a developer which already has strong proven track record. They have created a legacy in Dubai, in the UAE. Not only in Dubai, they have operations in various other countries. They have significantly big investments back in India. So they are diversified. They are a backward integrated company. So they have their own supply chain. They have their own sourcing of raw materials, goods. So they are pretty backed up and pretty safe when it comes to an investment, particularly during challenging times. Now let's understand the investment opportunity that's presented in front of us. Sobha City. First of all, let's understand the location where in Yas Island Sobha City is located. Okay, so this is the Yas Island. This is the Yas Island. You have the Ferrari World. You have the fun Yas Marina Circuit. So this is basically the Yas Island. You have the schools, malls, and whatever we discussed in this island. And you have the canal here. This is the canal. And around the canal there are plots available for residential development, and Sobha has acquired a plot at a very prime location. This is where the plot of Sobha City is. It spans across 38 million square foot. So it's a pretty big plot. Yet there is only going to be 3,500 units in total, including apartments and townhouses. So it's a bit different compared to other projects, even by Sobha. You could say even Sobha Heartland, where the number of units were very high. So here it's a bit of a different play. And not only that, 60% of this land parcel is going to be dedicated for green spaces. So only less than 50% of it will be used for residential construction. So it's going to look beautiful. And Sobha, we have seen, even in, for example, Sobha Heartland, they build very successful green spaces and they maintain it very well. People love the green spaces by Sobha. So 60% of green spaces is going to look very beautiful, and it's going to look very natural, very it's going to look very beautiful. It's going to feel very beautiful, and there is going to be a likability for that nature, for that environment, both from long-term tenants as well as short-term tenants. Let me take you through the master plan of Sobha City. So this is the master plan. This is how it looks like. So this is the canal. In the front line, you have a set of apartments. These are the apartments. Recently, the first set of apartments were released. First 3 apartments were released, and to the surprise of many people who were skeptical about the market, all 3 towers were almost entirely sold out. These are pretty significant investment values that we are talking about, not below 1 million, it's above 1.5 to 3 million, right? And it got almost entirely sold out. So that, again, on a separate note, that shows that there is investor confidence in the market. That's a different story that, if you are someone who is a bit concerned about what's happening, who needs a bit of clarity about the market, well, there are people investing millions and they are intelligent investors. So they know something about the market, and that's the reason why they are deploying their hard-earned capital. If you want some clarity, do get in touch. I'll be more than happy to have a chat about what's happening, about my take on how this will turn out and how the market is going to basically bounce back and perform, right? Okay, that's a different discussion that we can have separately if you need some clarity. Now coming back. So yeah, this is the canal. This is in the first row you have a set of apartments. So canal is not swimmable. So there are some lagoons along this, in front of these apartments, with kind of like infinity pool setup, big lagoons where you can swim. There is going to be a kind of like a shopping mall kind of setup here for shopping and retail, and you can park your yachts here if you have a yacht, if you own a yacht, and you can enter into the communities. That's kind of like the setup here with the apartments. Then this side you have the townhouses and villas, right? Then you have obviously an 18-hole championship golf course that's coming there, designed by Greg Norman, which is a big name in the golf world. So that's going to bring some positive appeal to the community, and definitely that's going to add value, right? So yeah, there's going to be schools, there's going to be a hospital coming up in this community. I do not intend to go into detail about the master plan, if you are interested on a particular investment, because there is apartments. Even in apartments there is 1 beds, 2 beds, 3 beds, there is duplexes. So then there is townhouses, villas. So the investment sizes vary significantly from from 2 million all the way up to 7, 8 and above as well, right? So again, the strategy would vary depending on your investment size. So I would not go into much detail about the investment values, because then the video would be too long. I, as always, would be focusing on the investment fundamentals of this community, of this developer, of this location, and how you can look at this. Is just a bit of a perspective that I believe you would be able to look at from when you assess this investment opportunity, right? If you are interested in any particular unit, in any particular type, and how that will impact, how that will benefit, then that's a different discussion we can have on a one-on-one call. So that was a bit about the master plan. As I briefly explained, there is going to be an 18-hole championship golf course, 3 schools, 1 hospital. So this community is also being positioned as a place where you could potentially live long term, not just short term demand, right? As I said at the beginning of the video, there is going to be 16,000 jobs that will be created. There's people already living there, and if you look at the already available apartments, not many good quality apartments. There's a few handful of apartments with modern finishing, good quality, because once these demand anchors that I spoke about, once they come into play, for example, when the creative hub is fully active and when there is people working there, 700 plus companies being established there, the caliber of people living there, just like in Expo City. I have gone into detail when I speak about Expo City videos. The caliber of people living there would be at a certain level. They'd expect a certain standard, certain quality. So developments, projects that are able to meet that expectation, those are the projects that would be high in demand. So that's basically the idea, right? That's exactly why I am talking about Sobha, because Sobha is very well known for their quality of delivery and for delivering beautiful green spaces. So that's why we are talking about this project. Now let's understand some numbers. This location obviously is a short-term rental hub for all the reasons that we discussed. As for long-term rental, Sobha City is going to be one of the preferred locations, mainly because of the livability element of the master community. 60% greenery, the quality of finishing, maybe the golf course, you have 3 schools inside, you have a hospital. For all these reasons, it's going to be a very good community. And I have to be very transparent here. If you look at an apartment, specifically talking about 1-2 bedroom apartments, Sobha City is not going to stand out because it has a most exceptional or most beautiful layout. As a matter of fact, the layouts are pretty generic and compact. I might not necessarily advise investing in certain layouts as well. For example, there are 1-bed layouts with sizes of below 600 square foot, right? In a city like Abu Dhabi, where it's predominantly, compared to Dubai, it's more family oriented, people would prefer a bit spacious layouts, right? So Sobha is, I'm talking about apartments. Villas and townhouses is a different conversation. We can have it separately if you are looking for a villa or townhouses. But apartments, it does not stand out because it has the most exceptional layouts. As a matter of fact, there are other developers offering beautiful, good layouts in Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. But this location, this project is going to stand out because of the livability element of it, which is not easily replicable by another developer, because it's hard to deliver such a big master community with so much greenery and maintain it at that quality and standard, right? That's the reason why people would like living here. Right, now let's understand the numbers. Talking about long-term rental. So this is the average 2-bed. I took a 2-bed because, again, when you talk about long-term, it's going to be mostly, people, families. Obviously, there's going to be some demand for 1-beds. I'm not saying no, but mostly 2-beds would be a preferred option when it comes to long-term. So in that sense, I took a 2-bed. Over the past 1 year, 186,000 is the average in Yas Island for 2-beds. This is including newer buildings and older buildings. So there are obviously certain apartments rented at 200,000 plus and certain rented at 150,000, 140,000 as well, right? And the dynamics are changing. As I said earlier in the video, the caliber of people moving in, they'll expect a certain standard, right? So whatever development or project that is capable of offering that standard, those projects will attract more demand, right? Having that being said, if you assume a conservative 200,000 dirhams rental rate on a 2-bedroom in this project by Sobha, where the prices started from 2.4, 2.5 million to around 3 million depending on the placement. So I took an average price of around 2.7 million for a 2-bedroom. On a gross rental of 200,000, we are looking, it's not a net ROI, it's actually the gross ROI of 7.5%. This number is very conservative. I firmly believe 200, you could rent it out above 200, 220, 230,000. But very conservatively speaking, if we rent out at 200,000, the gross ROI is going to be above 7%, which is a good number. Given the current price trends, it is a good number. If you talk about short-term rental, so there are two scenarios. There could be off-peak, there could be peak. So I just put a date on June, which is a peak of the summer, to understand some listing or rather short-term rental figures. It's close to 1,000. There were some figures above 1,000 as well. So it's 850, 900, 1,000 dirhams per night, somewhere around that, right? Again, these are like, still there's very limited high quality good establishments available at Yas Island. So these numbers actually do not entirely reflect what the future is ready to pay, given all the future demand engines also that are being created in Yas Island, such as the Disney World and whatnot. This number is going to be high. So this is off peak. If you look at peak, the same screenshot that I had earlier, it's just that I have changed the dates to December. Look at the numbers, even 4,500, 4,000, 1,500 plus, right? So I have taken conservative numbers just for us to not raise our expectations too much, right? On a very conservative note, if you look at 1,000 dirham per night rate during off peak and 1,500 dirham per night rate during peak. Obviously the peak rates are very high, we saw that, but let's assume it's 1,500 again for a 2-bedroom. Why did I take a 2-bedroom? Because Yas Island, particularly a lot of family with kids are going to visit, or say friends. For example, if it's a Coldplay concert, there's going to be people, not 1-2 people, friends, batch of friends that are going to visit. So 2-bed for short term, even 2-bed and even 3 beds would be a good preferred option for people to stay. Of course, 1-beds also would be in demand for a certain type of tenant, but particularly this location, I think 2 beds is a good choice for families, for a set of friends that are visiting Yas Islands, right? So 1,500, 1,000 and an year-round occupancy rate of 75%, right? Again, statistically speaking, Yas Island's occupancy rate is above 80%, and during peak it goes above 90% as well. So all these figures are very conservative, just for us to understand what is the minimum that I can expect in this location, right? So whatever you gain beyond that is a bonus, okay? And if I have minus again a total 25% as maintenance and whatever the fees that you have to pay for the holiday home companies, right? Even after minusing that, we are looking at a net ROI of almost 10% that you can expect in short-term rentals. So between 7 to 10%, whether it's depending on whether long-term or short-term, is something that you can conservatively, very, very comfortably expect when it comes to yields in this location, right? So yep, that's something that I wanted to highlight. Now, if you are an investor who is expecting to flip this property at handover, again, depending on the location placement of the unit, right? Particularly if it's an apartment unit that you want to flip, I have to tell you this is not the best investment if you want to flip at handover. You should not invest here. We have to look at some other options, other alternatives, right? There are few reasons. If you look at the track record of Sobha in Sobha Heartland and other communities, yes, their quality is good. They deliver phenomenally good quality. However, their deliveries will be very close, right? So they will probably launch next month again, and so they'll be launching these apartments over the coming year. They're going to be launching these apartments, and 3.5-4 years down the line, they're going to be handovers every other month, right? So there is going to be a considerable number of similar units, similar to yours. If you are looking for a unit, an apartment, that's going to come to the market by 2030, 2031, 2032. So at that time, if you want to flip, you might find it a bit challenging because there's so many similar units, right? So this, if you are planning to hold for some time, this is the best. This is a good choice actually. Why? It's a safe developer, particularly given everything that's happening in the region currently. Sobha has proven that they can deliver. So they are very well capable. They are again backward integrated. They are diversified in terms of risk. They have investments out of UAE as well. So they are pretty diversified, right? And they are a big group. So it's a pretty stable, safe investment option for you to look at from that sense. So if you want to preserve your capital, if you want to grow your capital over a long time, and if you want to gain some decent, good rental ROI at an upcoming location, then this definitely is the option for you. You can look at this option as a potential investment opportunity. Another reason why it would be a bit of a challenge for you to flip is mainly if you look at flipping, who is going to buy your apartment at handover? Particularly this location, if you talk about, it's going to be a holiday home company who would be willing to pay a premium and buy your apartment. Other type of person that would want to buy a unit at handover is an end user, someone who want a home for themselves. When it comes to an end user, their preference would be they would want spacious layouts from an end user's point of view. The layout has to be exceptional. In this project, talking about apartments, as I said, layouts are not exceptional. Layouts are pretty generic. Sizes are compact, right? So you're not going to have that end user demand at handover, not much. So it's going to be hard for you to find a buyer. Versus another developer who is offering a good, spectacular layout, they will have end user demand at handover. People will want to acquire that unit at handover. They'll be happy to pay a premium and opt for a mortgage at handover to acquire that unit compared to this. So these are the reasons why it would be a bit of a challenge for you to flip at handover. These are the risks. I'm not saying no, you cannot flip. Of course you can. You would be able to, but these are the risks that you need to be aware of, right? On the flip side, we can look at it from a different angle as well. This is the beginning of a master plan, right? The next phases are only going to appreciate in price. At least 5-10% of a price bump is going to be there as and when the next phases of the buildings will be launched. Only 3 buildings were launched, right? So then you are having almost the lowest price per square foot unit if you invest now, right? And in case the developer spaces out the launches a bit, and in case the handovers also are spaced out a bit, then you're having an advantage. You would be at a better position, right? You would find potential buyers, holiday home companies at that time to buy your unit. So there's 2 sides to this, right? I'm just making you aware of all this so that you can understand, you can be well informed before making a decision. Again, when it comes to specific units, this also would vary depending on whether it's a villa, townhouse or an apartment, and even within an apartment, what type of apartment, what is the placement, and this would vary based on your investment objectives as well. What are you trying to achieve out of this, right? On a video, I can only be very generic about the developer, the project, a few very generic objectives of like any investor would have, but specifics we will have to discuss and understand what you are trying to achieve out of this investment. Based on that, perhaps this would be the best option, perhaps some other option in Abu Dhabi or in Dubai would suit you better than anything else. It varies significantly from investor to investor. No 2 investors that I have spoken to are same. Every investor is unique and different in their own sense. So yeah, that's a bit about the investment angle that I wanted to talk about, and I hope I was able to give you a clear picture about the project, about the location, what it's gonna be in the next 4-5 years. I hope I was able to help you visualize and understand these aspects. Hope this video was helpful. If you would like to understand further about this opportunity, or if you would like to compare, understand various other investment opportunities, or if you would want to benchmark this opportunity against your investment objectives, please do get in touch with me. I have given my contact details below. If you haven't already signed up or subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, like and share this video with whoever you believe would benefit just like you did. With that, signing off until next time.